PDRM busts Sri Lankan human trafficking ring. UiTM remains for Malays and Bumiputra. Well, good evening and thanks for joining us. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Our first story. The price of RON 95 and RON 97 petrol has been cut for a second week in a row from midnight today, and this time at a lower quantum of 1 cent to 1 ringgit and 92 cent per litre and 2 ringgit and 22 cent per litre respectively, on the back of consistent decrease in crude oil rates. However, the price of diesel will be increased by 1 cent to 2 ringgit and 5 cent per litre from the week of 12th to 18th January. Now, this is the second adjustment following the implementation of the automatic fuel pricing mechanism on 5th January, which determines fuel prices on a weekly basis. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng, in a statement today, said to protect consumers from the impact of substantial increase in prices when global crude oil prices rise, the retail prices of petroleum products will be maintained at levels not exceeding 2 ringgit and 20 cent per litre for RON 95 and 2 ringgit and 18 cent per litre for diesel through subsidy. He added that the cap on fuel prices will be abolished when the targeted fuel subsidy mechanism is implemented in the middle of this year. The government had cut petrol prices by 27 cents per litre and that of diesel by 14 cents for the 5th to 11th January period. The Royal Malaysia Police, PDRM, have successfully crippled a human smuggling syndicate headed by a Sri Lankan national in several busts around the waters of Klang, Selangor on Friday. An Inspector General of Police, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun, in a statement today said police also rescued 34 migrants, including 11 women and 7 children from Sri Lanka and India, meant to be shipped later to Australia and New Zealand. Now, according to Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun, of the 34 migrants, 24 were Sri Lanka nationals and 10 from India. Also arrested were 3 Sri Lankans believed to be members of the syndicate. Preliminary investigations show that the syndicate had purchased a tourist boat and in the process of procuring 3 boat engines for the purpose of smuggling. It is believed that the syndicate had been in operation since the middle of last year. Now, all those detained are being investigated under Section 5, Subsection 2 of the Immigration Act 1959-63 for entry into or departure from Malaysia from an authorized landing place, airport, or point of entry. The Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today fixed 15 February for the mention of the case involving former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak's wife, Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor, who is facing 2 corruption charges involving the implementation of solar energy projects in rural schools in Sarawak. Now, Sessions Court Azman Ahmad made the decision pending the outcome of the application to transfer the case to the High Court. Now, on Wednesday, the High Court adjourned the hearing of the prosecution's application to transfer the case to the High Court. The application at the High Court will be heard on 24th January. Earlier, during case management, Deputy Public Prosecutor Dato' Muhammad Dusuki Mokhtar said the documents to transfer the case were handed over to the defense on Wednesday. Now, present to accompany Datin Sri Rosmah in today's proceedings was husband, Dato' Sri Najib, and their son, Ashman. Meanwhile, outside the court, Defense Counsel Dato' Jagjit Singh said they are still studying the 200-page document on whether to submit an objection or not. On 15 November last year, Datin Sri Rosmah pleaded not guilty to the Sessions Court to 2 counts of receiving bribes totaling 1.5 million ringgit involving projects to supply and install solar panels at 369 rural schools in Sarawak 2 years ago. The Ayekoro Magistrates Court issued a 4-day remand order beginning today against an administrative assistant of Tabung Amanah Pendidikan Negeri Malacca, or TAPEM, to facilitate investigation by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, into the embezzlement of student scholarship funds worth over 2.5 million ringgit. Now, the remand order against the 31-year-old suspect was approved by Magistrate Analia Kamarudin today. Now, the suspect, who was arrested at Felda Menggong Alugaja, Malacca at 7:15 p.m. last night, is remanded under Section 18 of the MACC Act 2009 for falsifying of documents. And based on the latest transaction, the commission discovered that the suspect had banked in the scholarship money of a state-owned religious school worth over 35,400 ringgit into his personal account. Preliminary checks into the documents involved also found that the suspect had earlier embezzled almost 2.5 million ringgit of scholarship funds, which was to be channeled to 77 schools in Malacca. State MECC Director Angkok Ahmad Taufik Putra Aung Ismail, when contacted, confirmed the arrest, however refused to comment further. The Balik Pulau Sessions Court issued a 4-day remand order against a man who slapped and threatened a 29-year-old cashier of a convenience store in Bayan Lepas, Pulau Pinang. Now, the remand order, which begins today, was issued by Judge Sharmila Abdul Majid under Section 506 and 323 of the Penal Code. Now, the 47-year-old suspect was arrested at Jalan Nuri, Sungai Arab, Bayan Lepas around 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Baradaya District Police Chief Superintendent A. An Bagalan said the suspect had pleaded guilty to beating the victim as he could not control his anger. In the incident, which took place at 8:40 a.m. on Tuesday, the cashier was approached by the suspect who wanted to purchase some items, including 3 packets of cooking oil. The cashier, however, told him that each customer was limited to 2 packets only. The suspect then became furious and hit the victim's head and threatened her. Worried for her safety, she made a police report on the incident. A 16-second video recording of the incident has gone viral on social media. Well, a father pleaded not guilty at the Ipoh Sessions Court today to a charge of sexually assaulting his 14-year-old daughter last year. And the accused, 38, made his plea after the charge was read out by a court interpreter in the presence of Judge Norashima Khalid. Now, the man, an odd-job worker, was charged with fondling and molesting the victim, then aged 13 years, 4 months, at Jalan Malim Nawar near Kampar in July last year. And he was charged under Section 14, Subsection A of the Sexual Offences Act and Children's Act 2017, which provides for a prison sentence of up to 20 years and caning to be placed under police supervision for a period not less than 1 year and not more than 3 years. Earlier, Deputy Public Prosecutor Naidatul Afira Azman did not allow the accused bail, while counsel S. Teban requested it. The court did not allow the accused bail and fixed 15 February for a re-mention of the case. The Health Ministry is looking into the progress of the no-smoking ban at eateries nationwide in terms of the number of patrons there. Its Minister, Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, said despite receiving criticism, he is optimistic that the campaign would lead to a positive outcome.
According to Dr. Zulkifli, there have been claims that the number of customers at eateries had declined due to the ban which came into force on 1st January.
Tapi saya juga punya evidence yang mengatakan mereka lebih selesa, mereka dapat langganan dan patron yang lebih ramai sebab sekarang ni keluarga berani bawa anak-anak kecil dan keluarga untuk makan kerana tidak ada gangguan rokok atau asap rokok. Jadi you see there are always two sides of the picture, two sides of the same coin. Jadi itulah yang kita kena berlaku adil untuk tidak mengambil apa-apa sikap therefore macam nak kita backtrack dan sebagainya. Itu tidak akan kami lakukan.
Dr. Zulkifli said this in a press conference held after delivering his message for the new year to the ministry staff at an assembly in Putrajaya today. The minister once again stressed that the intention of the campaign was not to ban cigarettes, but is instead aimed at creating a healthier and cleaner environment. Last week, Malaysia's Singapore Coffee Shop Proprietors General Association President Dr. Ho Sumong said since the implementation of the ban, eateries, especially coffee shops, have lost about 15% of its smoking customers. Currently, Sarawak is the only state that is still deferring this smoking ban, but Dr. Zulkifli believes it will be implemented soon.
Well, coming up, insatiable demand for latest trends leaves devastating impact on environment. Welcome back. Now, University Technology Mara, UiTM, will remain as a higher learning institution for Malays and Bumiputra. Its Vice-Chancellor Emeritus Professor Dr. Hassan says the policies and initial goal of UiTM remain relevant today. In fact, it has proven to be successful in balancing the positions of Bumiputra and non-Bumiputra in Malaysia.
According to Dr. Hassan, UiTM has successfully impacted the social standing and unity of Bangsa Malaysia and has also contributed to the social equity of uniting the nation. He said the policy must be maintained because there are still many from the rural areas and the underprivileged who still need UiTM.
Impak dia, kita lihat bahawa UiTM telah memberi impak yang besar pada sosial ekonomi dan bukan itu saja tetapi untuk penyatuan bangsa Malaysia. Kerana kita akan menyumbang kepada kita dalam istilah equity for unity. Maksudnya equity itu penting untuk menyatupadukan bangsa kita.
Dr. Hassan at a press conference after witnessing the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding MOU between UiTM and the Armed Forces Fund Boards Foundation LTAT at the Tuanku Said Sirajuddin building in UiTM. Also present were Defence Minister Muhammad Sabu, LTAT Chief Executive Officer Nik Amlizan Muhammad and Chairman of UiTM Board of Directors Dato Sri Syed Zainal Abidin Syed Muhammad Tahir.
Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, MATRADE, has appointed Tan Sri Halim Mohamad as its 7th chairman, effective 1st January 2019. Now, this is Tan Sri Halim's second appointment as MATRADE's chairman, having previously held the post from 2004 to 2010. Well, prior to that, Tan Sri Halim was already a member of the MATRADE's board for 8 years. And Tan Sri Halim, who is the founding director of the Halim Mazmin Berhad Group, during his previous stint had mooted the idea of specialized business matching called Incoming Buying Mission, now known as International Sourcing Program. Now, during this period, Malaysia International Halal Showcase, or MIHAS, has become the world's largest halal trade fair. Under his helm, MATRADE began ramping up initiatives to venture into Latin America in the effort to diversify the export market. He is also a big proponent of Bumiputra and women participation in international trade. The Malacca state government will increase water tariffs to help support the costs of managing and maintaining water supply. Now, Chief Minister Adli Zahari, however, assured that the increase will not burden the public, as incentives will be given to low-income families in the B40 category and people who implement water-saving measures.
Adli said discussions are currently being held with Syarikat Air Malacca Berhad, but the increase in water tariffs have not been set as each state had different rates.
Sebab kos pengurusan air ini semakin meningkat. Jadi kalau kita lihat peningkatan itu berlaku, jadi kalau tarif air itu tidak disedia dengan betul, kita akan mengalami kerugian. Kerugian itu akan menyebabkan kita tidak dapat mengurus air dengan betul dan akhirnya kita akan pergi kepada krisis air.
Adli said this after attending the Malacca State Government monthly gathering at Sri Negeri Aikro today. Also present was State Secretary Dato Sri Roslan Ibrahim and State Exco members, as well as about 400 civil servants from throughout the state. Last Tuesday, Minister of Water, Land and Natural Resources Dr Xavier Jayakumar said that increase in water tariffs were necessary to protect the consumers' interests in getting good water quality and ensuring the industry's services.
Well, all registered taxi drivers in Malacca will receive an incentive from the state government in the form of contribution from the Social Security Organisation, or SOCSO. And State Public Works, Transport and Amenities Committee Chairman Muhammad Sofi Abdul Wahab said the announcement of the incentive will be made within this month.
Muhammad Sofi said the contribution is aimed at ensuring that all registered taxi drivers in the state are covered by the scheme.
Apa yang saya boleh nyatakan insentif tentang kebajikan. Kebajikan apa tu? Kita sedang usahakan untuk mencarum pekeso. Itu yang saya boleh omongkan. Kita akan usahakan untuk kita carum semua peserta taksi carum pekeso. Kerajaan negeri akan sponsor.
Muhammad Sofi said this after launching the lorry exhibition organized by the Malacca Tipper Truck, Dumper and Cement Mixer Owners Association at Malacca International Trade Center in Aikaro. He said to date there are 1,000 registered taxi drivers under 16 taxi associations around the state.
And the fashion industry today is characterized by overconsumption with devastating impact on our planet. Consumers' insatiable demand for the latest trends has come at an environmental cost. That's fabric waste, an alarming trend which needs to be reversed.
It cannot be denied it is a lucrative business, but the fashion business is also one of the dirtiest, as it is the second largest industrial polluter behind oil. To put an end to this, the Academy of Culture, Art and Heritage, Azwara, will collaborate with the Selangor government to promote awareness among the community on how to manage fabric waste. Group Chief Executive Officer of Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated, Raja Shahrin Raja Othman, said it is imperative that the fashion community is educated on waste management, as fabric waste management is a difficult process to conduct. Through the Upcycle Creations Recovery of Synthetic Fabrics program, the public will be taught on how to manage their fabric waste more comprehensively and recycle it for everyday use.
Kita mengalu-alukan kalau ada apa-apa organisation ataupun company ataupun usaha-usaha yang ada yang untuk membuat recycling ke reuse ke. So with that, kita ada orang datang approach kami. Kami kata this is satu usaha yang sungguh bagus.
Rakyat Malaysia masih belum ada kesedaran tentang topik fabrik ni sendiri. Jadi kami kumpulan Upcycle Creations, kita bergerak sebagai satu suara nak spread, nak menyampaikan pengetahuan ini kepada semua orang. Yang kita nak kata bila kita recycle botol dan sebagainya, kita juga patut bagi perhatian kepada fabrik.
The program is currently being held at the National Textile Museum located adjacent to the Sultan Abdul Samad building in Kuala Lumpur from 12 to 16 January.
And with that, we conclude this evening's News on 2. In our top story, PDRM busts Sri Lankan human trafficking ring and rescued 34 migrants. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos, and stay tuned to TV2. And from all of us here, we hope you have a pleasant evening ahead.